We'll call to order the meeting of the Town of Franklin Town Council for September the 2nd, 2025. If you would, please stand and join me as Vice Mayor Stacy Guffey leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. Mr. Guffey.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Everyone has a copy of the agenda. You had a chance to look at it. I will make one note here before we take any action on approving the agenda. We do have on the proposed agenda a closed session under personnel. That won't be necessary where documentation has not been received and put in together of a form that we need at this point in time. So unless someone has another item that we need in closed session, we'll not be having that closed session, which is item 12A on your proposed agenda. Otherwise, is there a motion to adopt the agenda as provided?
So moved.
Have a motion, second? Motion made and second to approve the agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. Any opposed by like sign? That motion carries. Next item we have is the approval of the consent agenda. There are several items on there. Is there an item on the consent agenda that any board member would like further discussion? Or is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Motion to approve is presented.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Motion made and second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Any opposed by like sign? Motion to approve the consent agenda, it passes. At this time, I would like to ask Regent Lynn Deegen to come forward and allow me to read a proclamation and present that to you. We can stand up here and amongst all these dignitaries. This is a proclamation I'd like to read before presenting it to you.
Thank you, sir.
Whereas September 17th, 2025 marks the 238th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore I, Jack Horton, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor in the state of North Carolina and the town of Franklin, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through 23 as Constitution Week. And I ask our citizens to affirm or reaffirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the town of Franklin to be affixed the 2nd day of September in the year of our Lord 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I just appreciate the city of Franklin recognizing Constitution Week for the Daughters of the American Revolution and the country. It's an important document that we all need to be more familiar with.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you for what you do. Thank you for both. At this time, I'd like to recognize Nicole Bradley, our HR Director. Ms. Bradley, if you would come forward and introduce our water sewer supervisor for a special occasion.
Well, Jim could not be here tonight, but I'll still do a little introduction and tell a little bit about Mr. Zilbauer. Well, I shouldn't say Mr. Zilbauer. He doesn't like to be called that. It's his dad. So Jim has been with the town for 25 years, and it was in June, but we do these quarterly. So he was hit his 25-year mark with the town for his dedicated service. He is currently our utility maintenance supervisor, so he's over the water sewer department. So Jim works with various customers, takes phone calls, he schedules all the guys, all their tasks for the day, the water taps, the sewer taps. Jim does a lot. He even gets down in the holes with them at times. So sometimes you probably see him out and about in the field doing the work himself. So I do have a plaque for Jim, and I'll give it to Bill tonight to give to him tomorrow. He says he has a place he hangs up his plaques at home, so he couldn't be here, but I still wanted to recognize him for his years of service.
One thing I'd like to take a privilege to mention here briefly. This month marks another anniversary that's not on your agenda tonight, but 4 years ago this month, we were blessed to have in our employee, our town manager, Amy Owens. Amy's been with us 4 years this month, and we sincerely appreciate all the good work that she does and all the improvements that have been made to the town of Franklin during her tenure. And as someone mentioned to me earlier this evening, let's do everything we can to keep her in Franklin. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Now it's time for our public comment session. We have two people who've signed up to speak in public comment. If you didn't get a chance to sign up to speak, if you'd like to do that, please let us know before we close this particular part of the session. The first speaker that we have to recognize is Devin you'll have to help me with the last name.
Don't worry about it.
Dupuises? Dupuis, okay.
But believe it or not, where I come from, people just say Doopy, so.
I bet you have more people who mispronounce it than pronounce it right?
I'd at least rather you try.
Okay, Devin, please proceed.
I'm just here tonight on behalf of the Macon County Farmers Market. We're just about at our halfway point this season, and I figure that y'all deserve an update since you are so graciously sharing the town hall grounds with us this year. So I just wanted to give you some fun facts about what's going on. So last year versus this year. Last year we had about 40 vendors, and this year we have over 80 vendors as part of the farmers market. We had 36 vendor spaces last year per Saturday, and this year we have 55 spaces thanks to this lovely green area that you have out here. Last year we had 1 musician per Saturday. Now with the size of the market, we have 2 musicians who perform simultaneously at different sides of the market every Saturday. Instead of just free balloon animals, we also now have free face painting every Saturday for all of the kids. Our SNAP usage, this is exciting. SNAP card usage at the market has doubled this season over last season, which is so phenomenal to see folks getting access to that local, fresh, healthy food. We have also had multiple vendors report to us that their sales have increased 100% over last year at the market. So with that being said, thanks for your partnership. That's really just why I came here tonight, is to say that we appreciate all of you and that we look forward to continuing to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay.
Our next speaker is Morgan Stewart.
You said it right.
I got that right.
A little bit easier than Dupuis. I'm from Louisiana originally. We know how to do that. And yes, I will say right off the bat, we agree with your assessment of Miss Owens. We definitely want her to stay around. We'd be lost without her. Today I'm representing the Downtown Merchants Association. Many of you know them formally as the Streets of Franklin. I'm one of the board members. We really don't have a chair, even though I do tend to run some of the meetings. And I'm here today to let you know that the businesses along Main Street are increasingly alarmed about the safety issues on Main Street, specifically concerning an epidemic of speeding, as we see it. I'm here to present you with a petition from the Franklin Downtown Merchants asking the town council to focus on and take action regarding this matter. We've witnessed too many pedestrians involved in near misses because drivers are not heeding the speed limit, they're not heeding the signage. So shoppers, tourists, residents, and visitors and business owners are basically threatened by the speeders on Main Street right now. In our monthly meetings, business owners have regularly expressed a strong desire to see more than just discussions on the matter. We are very grateful and very lucky to have Chief Holland working with us right now. Amy has brought him to the table, and he's been a wonderful partner with us. But we just feel like more has to be done. We are open to all of the ideas that have been brought up at our meetings and that have been brought up with some of you. Speed bumps, raised crosswalks, more signage, speed cameras. And I actually have a few studies on speed cameras, which I'll give in with the petition. 25 businesses have signed this petition, and all of them are along Main Street. Some of them are here today. What we're very wary of is the idea is that the road is owned by NCDOT. And therefore, we are powerless to get meaningful and effective solutions because the state owns it. This is our community, this is our town, our home. It's not Raleigh. It's not Raleigh's community. This road that goes through the heart of our historic downtown, our central and government district, and it's our tourism and event center, belongs to Franklin, and belongs to us, and it belongs to you. If NCDOT doesn't want to work with us, then our next step is to figure out how we take ownership of this short stretch of road, at least in our minds. So these are just ideas we're throwing out. These are the concerns we have. We trust that you will find solutions because you care about this town and you are effective leaders, and we're proud to work with you, and the downtown merchants will absolutely work with you, not only on this issue, but any other issue that you want to work with us on. So thank you for the time.
Thank you. Those are all the folks we had signed up for public sessions. Anyone else who didn't get a chance to sign up who would like to speak? If not, we'll close public session and move along with the rest of the agenda. I'd like to recognize at this time our town planner, Mr. Justin Setzer, concerning the call for a public hearing. Mr. Setzer, if you would.
Good evening, Mayor and Town Council. A few months back, Council, you all asked the planning board to take a look at adding some text amendments to have public comment, an advertised public comment period for planning board for rezonings. Sent that draft down to planning board with some other drafts that we found that needed to be kind of cleaned up. The UDO, that first one was 152.070, and that's on member makeup. Back when 160D was updated, we added a ETJ member to make the equal representation for population, but we still added reference to 2 and not 3 that we went to. So making some changes to clean up some of that and some stuff on payment of planning board members that was adopted back in 2008 that's still referenced. And then making a change on 162 on the fee schedules, referencing about the paying for the advertising of costs, and then the changes that was requested on the public comment period. And then our town attorney provided some rules and procedures that he'd like to add, and we added those texts in, sent it to planning board at their August meeting. They voted 7-0 to recommend the changes, and then it's back here tonight to set a hearing if we'd like to set a hearing for next month.
Mr. Setzer, how would the general public get a copy of what's proposed before the public hearing?
We can put it on the website so that people can see the text amendments. It's obviously should be on the planning page now as the agenda for last month. You should be able to find the draft in there as well. Or you can come by the office, we can get it, or email it, call us, so maybe the rest of the day can see the draft.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Setzer?
This is part of what gets public comment to the planning board in advance of
Yeah.
public comment coming to us, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do want to point out, just as a note, as future people saying, start saying rezoning maybe take long, depending on the timing of once council maybe sends something to planning board, this might actually extend the process a month for the advertisement period that we gotta do, the less than 10, but not more than 25, or not less than 10, but not more than 25 days. So we might have to delay a month before they can hear it, to get the letters out and get for the public comment advertising, so the adjoining neighbors know about the meeting, and it's not, they had, it might not, we might have to do it really quick, but, just depending on when this meeting falls late, and it could work, it could fall within that 10-day period. So, it might not happen every time, but it could happen every time.
Any other questions? Ms. Lane?
I think it's a good idea to put this on the webpage. I think it'd be helpful.
Yeah, and it'll go in the paper.
Yeah, okay.
We put the text in the press as well, so it'll be, there'll be more full ways people can look at it.
Okay, so is there a motion to call for the public hearing on Monday, October 6th at 6:05 p.m. or closer thereafter, concerning these text amendments?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. A second. Mr. Lewis seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. Any opposed, by like sign. That motion carries. We'll go ahead and advertise and set that public hearing then for October. Under new business, I'd like to recognize our finance director, Sarah Bishop.
So, as you know, we're working on getting approval and getting financing for a clear well project out at the water treatment plant. This is just another resolution that we need that's just approving to enter into this agreement with Webster Bank. They are the financing institution that gave us the best rate. You guys approved that contract last month, but this is the resolution that we need in order to close the loan. So we will go to the LGC next Monday. Is that the 9th? The 9th, whichever day that is. Tuesday, okay. And hopefully receive approval to take on the debt, and then we will close shortly after.
Next step in a project that started about 3 years plus ago, so.
Probably more than that.
Or more than that. Okay, so the recommendation, you have it in your agenda, is to approve a proposal from Webster Bank to enter into an installment financing contract in the amount of $3,225,000 in order to finance the clear well and high pump service station project. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Motion made and second. Any discussion?
Are we still hoping and praying for state help on this, or do we give up?
No, we're still asking. There's an application that we're filling out that's part of the hazard mitigation process. Those applications are due October the 9th. We've made it to the second round, so we've asked for $2.9 million in that round, and then we have asked our federal representative for $2 million additionally,
So this is only about half of the project that we're financing.
Okay.
we got the other half in retainer.
Okay, so if we get the grant money, we can then retain our own retained earnings.
Yep.
And we've given our federal friends to the end of this month to approve the budget and make this application for us. I'm just being facetious there, Mr. Culpepper. Any other?
So something that's not included, thank you, Nicole. Something that's not included in this resolution, but it is required for the financing, is that we establish a separate account to hold the loan proceeds in until they're spent. So we are working, because we bank with Wells Fargo, we're working with them to set up a new account. And I'm not sure, John, if we need to get some action approval
To establish an account?
Yes.
I think probably the institution's going to want to see that you have governing board,
Okay.
authority to create the account. So yeah, I would say so.
You need a motion
So if you guys
to open
wouldn't
an
mind,
account?
just to make sure we can document it in the minutes, just in case Wells Fargo was to ask
Give the
for
girl
it.
Yeah,
what she
yeah,
wants.
motion
So
to,
make sure that's included in the motion would be enough to take care of that.
Yes.
Okay, is that okay?
You amend yours, Mike?
And second, okay?
Yeah.
All right, anyone else?
Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. Any opposed, by like sign. Motion carries. Carry on. Ms. Bishop, appreciate all your hard work and good luck.
Thank you.
Especially good luck on getting some additional outside money.
That's
Okay.
what we're hoping for.
Now, we do have a request for an agreement between the town of Franklin and our ABC board, and I'll ask our town manager, Ms. Owens, to summarize that for us.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. ABC Board provides funds to the town quarterly as well as true up after their annual audit. In the past year, they've forwarded $25,000 quarterly. And then, as I mentioned, once their audit is approved and they've set aside the requisite amount that is required by the ABC Commission for North Carolina, then they pay us the remainder. What the document is that you have in front of you just documents the mutual understanding that if for some reason something totally out of the blue happens, there's a need for a capital investment, that the ABC board would come back to you all as the town council to discuss any particular changes that may have to be made to that allocation.
And we have the chairman of our ABC board with us tonight in case anybody has any questions, but you've heard the explanation. It's something I think we've made a lot of improvements in the coordination and cooperation between the ABC board and the town board over the past several years. I think that's resulted in better bookkeeping and additional revenue for the town, so we appreciate the ABC board working with the town on all these projects, and we want to make sure we continue to remain good partners in this project.
what did we end up with? 25, 25, 25, 25, and what was the final distribution last year?
Last year, it was $158,000 total.
Okay, so it's
about
58.
$58,000 more.
Yeah.
We don't have this year's yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Motion.
We're ready for a motion if you'd like to. We have a motion, and do we have a second? Thank you, Ms. Celine. Motion made and second to approve the recommendation for the capital agreement between the town of Franklin and the ABC board. And is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. Any opposed, by like sign. That motion carries. We'll go ahead and do that and make sure ABC board gets their copy of that as well. Now we have a chance to hear some departmental reports, and I'd first like to recognize our Human Resources Director, Ms. Nicole Bradley. Ms. Bradley.
I feel like Justin. Good evening again. As far as the HR world for the town, the last quarter, there's not been a whole lot of new fun things happening, of course. I just am finishing up our annual workers' comp audit. The town's had a few injuries, which we're thankful for. All of our employees are safe. We have procedures in place, and they know how to do things safely. Sometimes something comes up and we can't help it. We actually have a low experience modification rate of 0.96. Which is below the 1% or the 1.0 average, so we're glad for that. That helps with our insurance rating on our workers' comp policy, our premium and stuff that we pay annually. I'm currently working on an electronic records retention policy. I've got to get with Justin, and I hope to bring that to our ordinance review meeting this month, so that we can have that in place, so that we don't have to keep a lot of paper for a lot of things, but we have to have, for the state archives, to have the electronic record keeping policy, we have to give that to the state archives, and you all have to approve that. So I'm working on that. Job openings, we currently have 3 at the PD. We had 1 to leave about 2 weeks ago. We have filled the water plant operator position. We are waiting for him to start sometime this month, so maybe at the October meeting, we hope we'll have an introduction to do there. And we also have an opening for utility maintenance mechanic for Jim, for his department on the water sewer, and that is open until the 11th of this month. On the clerk side of things, I don't get to update a whole lot on the clerk world because it's, not as fun as the HR world. I did attend the North Carolina Association of Municipal Clerks Conference 2 weeks ago, and it was in Cherokee, so I didn't have to drive back and forth and not have to stay overnight. But it was a good refresher. There were a lot of speakers. They even brought in, it's called the Up Guys, if you ever want to look them up on YouTube. They were pretty motivational, but not at 9 a.m. because they sang and did tricks. We learned to juggle. So that was kind of fun. There was just a lot of FAQs on topics that clerks face, a lot of information on the election, the do's and the don'ts, and then legislation updates. So that is all I have. Any questions?
Anyone have any questions? How many we got BLET right now?
3 have been sponsored, hopefully.
And that's, how far along are they through that?
They started early July, so about 2 months in.
And so even though, let's assume all 3 of them come through, it'd still be another 6-7 months before we have them.
Correct. Usually
through FTO and.
Yeah, first part of January, when they'll graduate, and then 4 months of training.
Okay.
Because they just lengthened that to 6 months.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
So we had 2 leave.
Well, we had 2 openings. We've had 2 openings for a while. We've not been able to fill.
One left.
One
Okay.
left, Sergeant Miles left.
Anyone else? In addition to being a fantastic clerk to this board, Nicole has done an outstanding job as HR director and really made a name for herself in those circles. We appreciate the good job you do.
Let's see some juggling.
Just say that. Just say, learn to juggle.
And now what some people may classify as probably the best tax collector in the state for municipality, soon becoming probably the best events coordinator that I've ever met, we'd like to recognize Sabrina Scruggs.
You did all my work for me.
Jack Clover takes your place, you're gonna have to train him about that. So, John's laughing as I try to replace him, he doesn't think it's funny. I do love you, John, don't worry. So with taxes, we have sent out over 3,000 bills. Before we get utilities in, we billed 3.2 million. And so far we've collected 461,000 of that. So we're getting there. They've only been out, they were due, yesterday, so today we weren't here, so we're getting there. I billed 400 business registrations. So as far as taxes and all that, we're good. Went through audit. My computer crashed. Justin worked for 4 days on that. It's the best time for stuff to go down. And then as far as events, I think July 4th went good. I think it was like a 13-hour day for Amy and I, but it was really fun. It was good to work together with the county and actually show the community that we can all be together, we can all do stuff for the benefit of everybody. We used to not be able to do that. And as far as picking, we only have 2 more. We have 11 pickings, and it's going pretty quick. I think last Saturday everybody enjoyed. We had one that got canceled, so that was our makeup. So everybody seemed to enjoy that. And then as far as Pumpkin Fest, if anybody wants to come out and be a judge for our costume contest that lasts forever, you guys are welcomed. And you can pay the MC to say, Stacy Guffey running for mayor or something like that. I take bribes, but not as tax collector, as events coordinator. So just throwing that out there if anybody wants to be a judge. But I think we're good. Anybody else?
Any questions?
Listen, my preacher took bribes on Sunday. I still, it's okay. You just have to do it when no one's around. That's why I learned at church on Sunday.
I don't understand why you didn't mention that I'm the only one up here that paid his taxes today.
Stacy paid his taxes, and I'm updating his address to in city limits if anybody needs to know that.
Can someone pay the taxes for someone else?
100%. I will
Okay,
take any-
Stacy, I'd like mine paid too.
And that's not a bribe because he's not running for anything, so
I'm just kidding. Anyone else?
anybody's.
Do you have anything else?
I think I'm good.
Any questions from the council? Thank you for the terrific job, Sabrina. We appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
And now, we'd like to recognize our fire chief, Mr. Ben Norman.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. It's good to see you again. So this time of year, with the weather cooperating nicely, a lot of our crews have been busy on equipment maintenance, truck maintenance. It's that time of year where we have to do all the annual testing on all the fire pumps. I'm happy to report that with a little bit of work, they all passed. But that's why we do these testings, to find the weak links before they fail at a critical moment. And testing tens of thousands of feet of fire hose and lots of other things that aren't real fun but necessary to take care of the equipment, along with getting out and turning hydrants and doing maintenance on fire hydrants and all the other things required for the job. As to how we're stacking up this year so far, we're at 1,276 calls for service as of a few days ago. That's a slight increase of 6% from where we were last year this time. Fire calls are up to 62 fires for the year. That's a 16% increase. Last time I spoke to you, we were at about a 31% increase in fires, so the fires have calmed down a little bit, so that's good news. And a slight increase in our medical calls, with them still averaging about 75% of the total calls for service that we get. That's pretty much the national standard. In training, our folks have been getting after it pretty hard. We've been doing a lot of creative training, some collaborative training with other departments. From where we were last year, we're up total hours-wise 13% more than last year. A little over 14,000 hours, I think. I don't remember the exact total. We tabulated it all at the end. But we've got some more exciting training coming up. We've got the possibility of an actual house to be able to burn. Just started working that with the college, one that somebody wants to donate, and it's structurally sound, so it won't be a risk to people. So that'll be some real good, realistic training for them. Some good news. Last week, we were notified that we were the recipient of a disaster relief grant. The amount of $50,000. This came from the Office of the State Fire Marshal. They pushed out some grant opportunities to about 15, 20 counties just in western North Carolina affected by Helene. So we, under one of the categories of how we could spend the money, is to improve our wildland capabilities. So we're getting pricing for a side-by-side and a skid unit. That unit slides in the back and carries about 50 gallons of water and 5 gallons of foam, which actually doesn't sound like a whole lot, but unless you put out a whole lot of fire. And it also has a rack on the top so that we can carry out victims, hiking incidents and stuff like that we do. Some updates for you. That picture to the left is our actual truck, the cab and chassis of the one we ordered, which seems like so long ago. Yeah. But it has now made it to the plant. And hopefully in about a year, we will finally be receiving it. And then on the right, staff's been working really hard on a request for proposal for a new tanker truck. We've finally gotten the approval from the town manager and Mr. Henning, that it meets all the criteria. It's about an 84-page document because there's a lot of details about a fire truck. But we're going to go out October 1st is the plan to go out for the RFP and hopefully get bids back by the end of the month.
Is that cabin chassis?
Not for the tanker.
Because I'm looking at that design, it looks like cabin chassis.
No, that's just a two-seater. It's very similar to the tanker we currently have.
So it is a custom cab, then it's not?
No, I'm sorry, it's not a custom. That's a cabin chassis.
Because wasn't it originally supposed to be a custom cab?
The engine we ordered is a custom.
I know, but I thought the tanker was supposed to be as well.
No, because we don't need the personnel carrier for that part since we mostly wrote it in mutual aid. Very similar to what we have now is 1152, except for this will be a 3,000 gallon tanker instead of our 2,000 currently. That's all I have for you. Any questions?
Chief, how are we looking as far as volunteer firefighters? Are we full contingent, or we still need more volunteers?
We're pretty solid, but we don't turn people down. Well, some we do, but we have a screening process. You know, they have to pass background checks and things like that. And there's requirements. You know, we've had some come that wanted to volunteer, but they didn't live or work in our district. So it's not good.
Well, and the training takes up a great deal of time for a volunteer as well.
It does, and especially when I take a new person and say, okay, you want to be a firefighter, short of going to a fire academy, you're looking at 3 to 5 years before you're actually certified, with lots of nights and weekends training. So it's a long road, but they persevere.
Yeah.
But we stay typically between 26 and 30 volunteers.
Good.
Pretty steadily.
Anyone have a question for the chief? Thank you, and tell your firefighters we really appreciate all the fine work they do.
Oh, well, thank you, sir.
Now I'd like to recognize Vice Mayor Guffey. We had talked at the last meeting about what we've been calling the Whitmire property for a number of years. And we found out after some research and some information from people who've been around here longer than some of us have, that the original name for that, what we call the Whitmire property, originally was Sunnyside. So, Mr. Guffey, I'll hand it off to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You'll find in the packet the sponsorship request that's required by the town of Franklin for naming of things like parks. I think it's an important part of what we do to honor the history of this town, and I'll remind you that when I first heard Sunnyside, I Googled it and saw that there were lots of Sunnyside parks across the country and thought, well, I'm not sure I like that name. But then some folks who were wiser than I in terms of local history schooled me on the history of the property, and I think it's important we honor that history. And as the application says, the Whitmires were a long-time family on that property, but they have been honored in other parts of the region. So this is my request that we take action tonight to rename the park Sunnyside Park.
So is that a motion? A motion to officially name our formerly called Whitmire property to the Sunnyside Park. Is that your motion? Is there a second?
I'd love to.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I think this is the second time we've voted to name it Sunnyside. I think we did it a few years ago, but yeah, let's name it Sunnyside again. I'm all in.
Why don't we do this then? Make sure that as soon as possible, put up a sign that says Sunnyside, so people will know what the official name
I think
is.
when we've established the disc golf course, we called it Sunnyside.
Maybe that's what it was.
That's what I always knew, the disc golf set is that.
Well, this will make it official. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. Any opposed by like sign. That motion carries, and the official name of the park will be from this day forward Sunnyside Park. Sunnyside being one word.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right. Thank you. Thank you all. Now, Mr. Guffey, Mr. Guffey, if you will continue as an item about industrial infrastructure incentive, and I think you'd like to share information on that as well.
This year we passed the economic incentive package, and after touring the facility up at Lander, we've been up to the facility a couple of times with folks from the state and folks from the federal government looking at some of the needs that they have there. It's a facility that employs around 70 people. They may have an opportunity to expand that operation even more over the next couple of years, but they have some facility needs to both remain at the level of operation they're at and to expand. One of those being some water and sewer infrastructure. And while we were talking about the issue that they have, we realized that we're going to be up there doing water and sewer work. And what a great time when we have the ground open and that infrastructure exposed to be able to help them with some of their infrastructure needs. And one way that we could do that to make it fair to any other industrial operation is to offer the same sort of application process and the same sort of approval that we offer for the economic development incentive package. And so my request would be to add the industrial infrastructure grant to that package to include construction, upgrade, extension, or repair of water or sewer lines. And as it says, based on the availability of funds, reimbursement up to $15,000 of cost, and a reimbursement for permitting fees up to $500. There's more than one industrial facility within the city limits, and I think it is a good thing for us to take care of those employers that take care of so many of our citizens.
I know the county puts money into economic development. Would they be involved in any of this with the town?
I think this would just be our package.
Just ours?
Similar to what we're doing with the facade grant.
I can recall back before Lander, there was another company there who was on the verge of closing down. And at that time, I was with the county. You may have been with the county as well at that time, Stacy. But we were able to come up with some funds to help them do some work up there. And it was a combination between what the county could come up with and the town made contributions as well. So I just hope that there's an opportunity for us to partner with the county to benefit an industrial facility that creates, you had 70 jobs right now, and they could possibly have more if they had the ability to do that. So we'll try to keep that in mind and jog the memory and the participation motives on both the county and the town side to make sure that we preserve those jobs, and while we have the opportunity to do so.
I think that's a great idea. I'm certainly willing to take anybody and everybody up there because I think those are good jobs, and having a manufacturer right there within walking distance of the neighborhood.
Now, your request tonight is it to amend the budget or to take this into consideration? What'd be the effect of Ms. Owens?
At this point, you all authorized $60,000 in the budget this year for economic development incentives. At this point, you've only paid out about $3,300. So you do have money there. You also have $30,000 in contingency that's already included in the budget should you have to add that at a later date.
We were going to reassess it in the upcoming budget anyway, based on, I mean, we could always reassess next year as far as budget money, as far as that dollar amount is concerned. But
correct.
If it's, I hope we get more participation than what we're getting, but.
Mr. Culpepper.
Is this already predetermined that this is for landers, or is this a open application for anybody? Because there's a lot of small businesses that would need help as well. I'm a little torn on it because nobody likes corporate welfare until it's in their town trying to help their jobs. So I don't know. I feel a lot better helping a small business than I do a UK multi-million-dollar company on the back of taxpayer dollars. So I don't know how I feel about it, but if it's open to everybody, then it would be a little more fair.
It is open to everybody to participate in. I think the fact that it was an industrial infrastructure format just was because of the job creation and the economic impact.
There'll be points along the line when someone applies for this help, they have to meet certain criteria which will be consistent from one applicant to another.
Okay. Do we really get some economies of scale by having our equipment up there working?
You avoid a whole lot of mobilization costs and things like that if they're able to work it out with the same contractor.
Ms. Lynn?
Are you intending that this is matching? You know, the other grants have been that they paid it up front and we matched half, up to half.
Yeah, it's reimbursement up to $15,000 worth of cost.
But it doesn't say that they have to pay up to 15. We would, I mean, the way this reads to me, we could pay the 15,000 plus the 500 and that'd be the total bill.
It could be the total bill, yeah.
It could be.
That's fine, we can change whatever language. This is why it's coming to.
Yeah, I'd like for it to at least be matching.
To be consistent, it need to be the 50-50 match like we had on the first one.
I think so. I mean, any time it seems like this would be. And then we don't need to, or do we need to define industrial? I was thinking about housing, people saying that they're a housing industry, or, I mean, is there any reason to define industrial? Stacy, in your thinking?
I think, yeah, when we take it back and revise it to have the 50-50 grant, I think it'd be good to define it well, narrow it down.
So would you like to take this back and highlight those points and any others you think need to be added to it before the board takes final action?
Absolutely.
Is that okay with the board?
Yeah, and piggybacking on Rita, without good definitions, you're gonna have, you know, maybe a housing development come in and say, well, if you'll reduce water and sewer lines, which we have not done in the past, slippery slope comes to mind here, so yeah, maybe some better parameters.
We have laws that pertain to that.
We do. There also is a handy source in the UDO for, you got a definition of what's industrial for where you've got industrial zoning. So
but this wouldn't even, that's not industrial zoned up there, is it?
So whether the property itself had already been in that use and it's a non-conforming use like that.
Right.
You could, for purposes of this, just use the definition of
Okay.
UDO and not get into
zoning or anything, okay.
It just is a handy, thing to use as your definition.
So, Mr. Guffey, if you will work with our manager and our attorney to make sure that what we do is fair, reasonable, and legal, and we can take it back up at our next meeting.
Absolutely.
Now, tell us about speed cushions.
Well, we've talked a lot about speeding tonight, and there aren't a lot of things we can do immediately in terms of NCDOT roads, but there are things we can do on the streets that we own. And when you put your phone number out there, you get a lot of phone calls, and a lot of the phone calls that I get are about speeding. And thanks to our police chief and the purchase of some of those temporary, you may have seen them around town, the little temporary speed bumps, the thin ones, they're able to react fairly quickly to problem spots and put these temporary speed bumps up in problem areas, and it works for a little while. The problem is a couple of them have been damaged just because of the speed of the cars going over them, because of the material they're made out of. And so, in my opinion, we should look for something a little more robust and something we can leave for a longer time. We need a greater quantity of them. There are several streets that we've talked about that are constant problem spots that could use these speed cushions. The speed cushions are better on the vehicles as well. I've seen them used in a lot of places. The overall thing that I think should drive this is, I remember, like you mentioned one time, David, about creating streets where people actually can live and kids can get out and play. Kids playing ball in the street in a safe manner. I've had a lot of phone calls where people ask me to call the police department and get these little speed bumps out because they've had to go down and get kids out of the street because of the speeding. I just think this is a solution we could probably do something immediately about. The things on Main Street will take a longer time, and I'm sure we can solve them, but this is something we can do for the people who live in our neighborhood. So I'm bringing this to you. Amy put together a proposal to purchase 10 of them. There's a price list and a grand total cost in your packet, and I'd just like to open it up for discussion.
Are these permanent or are they movable?
They're movable.
Okay, so I guess you would have, instead of, some people may call and say, I need one of those cushions on my street, and they may or may not need one, but do we have a system where we can evaluate that, either through our street department or our police department, to see if the need is really there or if the need is greater in another place? Is there a way to do that?
There's traffic counts that can be used, as well as any incident reports that the police department may have received, and also the list of individuals calling and reporting speeding issues that come into the town hall.
So how many would $10,000?
10.
10?
Yeah.
You think 10's enough?
I think you have to start somewhere.
It's a pretty good start.
I don't know. I've been by David's house every once in a while, but I'm just kidding. But is that something that we would have to have a budget amendment for?
Yes, sir. It would have to come from general fund balance, because it is not budgeted anywhere.
Okay.
Didn't DOT in that meeting say we could put them on Main Street?
No.
Are you sure?
I am sure.
Right back there in that day, they said if we wanted to buy them, we could put them, but that they would not provide them.
No, you can't use them because the way they scrape those streets and snowplow.
That's a permanent one though, but I mean, these are mildly removable.
No, they wouldn't let us go on there.
I don't know if you remember the conversation about how infrequently it snows here and how ridiculous.
Yeah, it was right back there.
Yeah, like the one time a year that you might have to remove them, and the comment that, I have to be careful how I say it. They didn't want any extra effort by their crews in terms of.
And I would have swore they said we could put the cushions down, they just will not provide them.
Or remove them.
I think we need to review that meeting and ask them again, because I thought the whole impetus was because they gave us the go-ahead on Main Street to put these down.
If they did, I'll volunteer to go out there and put them on Main Street.
That's how the conversation went, and they said, yeah, go for it. They said, we're not gonna provide them for you, but if you wanna buy them, then you guys go ahead.
You're thinking about those flashing lights. We put together or they were telling us the ballpark figure for those, the flashing lights and the crosswalks. They agreed to that, but they didn't agree with any kind of modification to the crosswalks.
But it doesn't have to be on a crosswalk. I mean, that's the whole thing. This doesn't have to be a crosswalk.
Anywhere is what I mean.
I think we need to run that back up the flagpole, because I think we got a soft yes.
I'm willing to run it back up the flagpole for sure, but yeah, I know what the answer is going to be for now.
Just install it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Was Mr. Grindstaff in that meeting?
He was.
Are we thinking these can go on any DOT streets, or?
No, on our street.
Only on town streets.
Town streets.
Well, then 10's too many. I mean, we don't have that many streets. I mean, if we can't put them on
You have to put two on, well, you have to put them on either side, so 5 streets.
And because there's something about something has to be able to drive over them
They're
in the
wide enough so
pictures.
that fire trucks and emergency vehicles don't have to go up and over, they can just drive over.
Right.
Is this something that you recommend or don't get too steamed about if we do?
I mean, you've got to address the problem of speeding somehow. And we've tried the smaller ones, they haven't worked.
Some people are of the mindset that you do less damage to your vehicle if you go over them faster. That's the common.
But I mean, if we can't put them where we really need them.
Some people do think that. They just fly over.
Which is right here. I mean, that's the blaring neon.
That's not the only, that's the spot, the glaring spot for sure. But I'm telling you, Green Street, Wilkie Street, down here below the Lazy Hiker where our right-of-way begins, that'd be a good spot, because if people are gonna have to slow down on that hill, knowing that they're gonna have to hit one of these things. There are a lot of spots that Bidwell Street at the stop sign, people call about that one all the time. because people run the stop sign when those little kids are out playing in the street.
I'm fine with buying them, but I want one
I mean, if you
downtown.
want safe, walkable communities, that's one of the prices of doing business, is making it safe to walk.
Make the motion.
Have we, is our street supervisor aware of this and how it works and how would that be maintained? Would it be our street people working with our law enforcement folks on each application?
Yes, sir, and they are drilled into the street, so it's not like they're just sitting on top.
You can't just pick them up and run away with them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Not that I would do that or anything.
Miss Lake has a...
That's like,
Well, this has to do with Morgan's presentation earlier. What about the camera? Because we could use a camera, we got the attorney riled up over there.
Well, you can, and we went through this, about 4 years ago? It's been discussed. The problem with it is the North Carolina Constitution says that locally collected fines and forfeitures have to be paid over the school fund. And so, and if you're you can make a local ordinance that isn't like a state law violation, but if you're basically bootstrapping state law with your ordinance and collecting a fine on top of what would be illegal under state law anyway, that also has to be paid over to the school fund. So, the original red light cameras that popped up in North Carolina, there were lots of them in the Charlotte area. I remember getting one, going to see family down there when I was 0.03 seconds or something through the light, allegedly. Of course, you could either take another day and go back to Charlotte and try not to get caught by another red light camera and contest the thing, or just send them $45 or whatever it was.
Well, it's a civil penalty too, right?
It is.
It doesn't affect your insurance.
Correct, but so there was a lawsuit from the school systems that said the state constitution says it's got to be paid to the schools. So you can run one of those if you want to, but it won't pay for itself because you're going to end up sending all the money to the school system.
But are they effective?
I haven't seen any studies.
I couldn't.
I'll be honest with you. I'm going to tell you what's effective. You go up there and write a bunch of tickets for 3 weeks straight, and people will get the message. Now, 6 months from then, you may have to do it again, and then 6 months then do it again. That's the only way you're going to slow down people up there, really and truly.
Street trees also lead to an environment where people go slower, so street trees coming up Town Hill and on Main Street also provide a
I think
calming.
we're talking about cushions. We're not talking about trees, and we're not talking about cameras.
The cameras.
They want to do $10,000 worth of cushions.
speaking of cushion.
Motion, let's.
Wait a minute, before you make that motion, let me ask one question, Joe. But hold on to that. How long does it take to get these cushions once you order them?
4 weeks.
And so it'd be, you can have them in place in less than 2 months?
Yes, sir.
Or a month and a half? Once the board, if the board approves to go ahead and pursue this? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And then you've already got a priority set, or our street crews have priority, or the law enforcement has a priority set on the streets that they should be put in first? They do.
Those are the ones that...
And to pay for this, if the board approves it, you need also a budget amendment from contingency or fund balance?
Whichever you prefer.
Well, you could do it in either one. The simplest one would be contingency if you have enough money to do it, but in my opinion.
30,000 in contingency.
Yeah, okay. All right. Anybody else have a question? If not, I'll recognize Mr. Collins.
Oh, I'll make a motion that we buy the 10 at the prescribed price and take it out of fund balance.
Not contingency.
You tell me, would you prefer contingency?
Contingency's already budgeted.
All right, let's make it out of contingency.
Yeah. Is there a second to Mr. Collins' motion?
Second.
Mr. Guffey seconds the motion. Discussion.
I'll add one thing. David and I, we commit tonight to go check on whether we can put these speed bumps out there, because if we can, we should do it.
I think we're wasting 10 grand. If we can't put them on Main Street, we're wasting money, because that is ground zero for speeding right there. I mean, that's where they need to be, and street trees as well.
Check with Mr. Grindstaff. He's the one that runs this division over here.
And they said yes to street trees too in that meeting. So I'm not crazy. They did say yes to street trees. They said we could put these down too.
Gas lights, I think.
Street trees within their appropriate size and shape.
Yep.
Now we're talking about trees.
We have a motion and a second.
I have one more question.
No, Mr. Lynn.
Okay, Joe. I had thought that they were going to be on Main Street. Therefore, my question had to do with, will it take up parking places? Because the way I read it, how far apart they have to be, I wondered, would they take up additional parking places?
They're only 7 feet wide.
And not as wide as the lane is, so not quite.
And then some in the middle, 7 feet?
You don't necessarily have to put them in the middle.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay.
Larger streets that are 15 to 20 feet, then you do use 3.
Okay.
But most of the streets that we have here are not that wide, so you would use 1 in each lane.
Okay.
Call a question.
Anyone else? I don't want to cut this riveting conversation off if somebody's got a burning question. If not, there are no questions or more discussion. All those in favor of the motion, please signify it by raising your hand. Any opposed by like sign? That motion carries.
That was a left hand.
If you will work on that and make sure all of our folks are in sync on this, and let us know before it goes into place so that we'll be on the lookout for that.
What if I was one-handed?
Our next town council meeting will be Monday, October the 6th, 2025. But on September the 27th, we'll have Picking on the Square, and on September the 13th and the 27th, I should correct that. We'll have Picking on the Square. Are those the last 2 of the year? Those are the last 2 of the year. And we have a really good announcer for that. You might have heard of her. She works for the town, does a good job picking on the square. And make sure you can make an appearance there if you can do it. I have nothing else except I would ask if any of the members of the board have anything they would like to contribute or add at this time. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a motion, is there a second? Motion made and second, no discussion. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. This meeting will be adjourned. Thank you all for being here. And before you leave, if you haven't turned in your evaluation sheets, please.